Now we're going to talk about emotional resilience. This is the ability to cope with stress and adversity and bounce back from it. So it is related to a child's self-esteem and their emotional regulation. So a child with lower self-esteem has lower emotional resiliency. And emotional regulation is a key part because they're able to handle their frustration or their despair or their sadness and bounce back from it. So how do we encourage children to have more emotional resilience? We need to model and teach them techniques to calm down, help them with their emotional regulation, teach them to breathe deeply, to count to 10. These techniques help them inhibit their emotional impulses, increases their emotional regulation, and therefore helps emotional resilience. We also need to teach them emotional skills. So self-awareness, which is how to identify their thoughts and feelings, their strengths and weaknesses. Their social awareness, how to identify and understand the feelings of others, develop empathy and the ability to take another person's perspective. Their self-management skills, handle emotions so that they help rather than hurt the current goal or task. Responsible decision making, help them come up with solutions to problems and implement them. Consider long-term consequences of decisions. And their relationship skills, the ability to resist peer pressure, conflict resolution, make healthy connections with other people. All these emotional skills help them have more emotional resilience. If this is a topic you're interested in, a good book for how to teach emotional skills to children is this one, Raising an Emotionally Intelligent Child by John Gottman. It was on your reading list, and it's just a good way of teaching skills like emotional resilience to children. So, friendship in preschoolers. Now we have differences from toddler friendship. I put that in quotes because toddlers don't really have friends. They have playmates, but there's really nothing that makes them friends. So toddler friends are usually those of convenience. They engage in parallel play, which is just playing next to each other without interacting. Preschool is generally the child's first opportunity to choose their own friends versus having playmates arranged by their parents. Friendship is characterized by shared positive experiences and feelings of attachment. Friends show higher levels of interaction, helpful behavior toward each other. They smile and they laugh with each other, and they show more frequent cooperation and collaboration with each other. Friends are usually those who enjoy the same style of play. So when asked what they like about their friends, preschoolers tend to focus on the concrete. They focus on toys and activities. He's my friend because he likes to play with dinosaurs like I do. Or she's my friend because she likes to play in the sandbox like I do. Things like that. So do they have best friends? Well, they do. They'll have someone they call a best friend, and they tend to have a closer and more exclusive relation or friendship with that person. They have similar interests. They like the same games and activities. And those are the main criteria to make a best friend. It's not about attractiveness or similar traits. Remember, preschoolers don't identify themselves by abstract traits such as loyal or nice. They still focus on the concrete, the things they like, the things they have. But peers are important for preschoolers. They help each other learn social skills such as sharing, helping, taking turns, how to deal with conflict, how to lead and follow. And friends are a good source of emotional support. So it is really important for preschoolers to have peers and friends. Prosocial behavior. The definition of this is doing something for others at a cost to yourself. This can be simple, such as holding the elevator door open for someone, or it can be really big, like donating blood, or even bigger than that. Similar to altruism. Altruism is a selfless concern for the welfare of others and is expressed through acts of kindness, sharing, cooperation, and helping. So I'm going to use the terms prosocial behavior and altruism interchangeably, even though they're subtly different. So according to Freud, what we're talking about here is the superego, the way you see yourself as a member of society and how you help out society. So how did behaviorists view prosocial behavior? Watsonian behaviorists, remember he was pretty much the original behaviorist, everything was stimulus response. He says to squash negative impulses in order to discipline misbehavior. threaten to withdraw love and affection. So Watson said that withdraw your love and affection from children when they do something wrong in order to discourage that bad behavior. He's wrong. Withdrawing your love and affection from children actually produces lower levels of moral behavior and prosocial behavior. Parental influence is all important. Parents who have warm emotional tone, communicate expectations of mature behavior, and provide explanations for rules, in other words, authoritative parents, raise children who have the highest levels of prosocial reasoning and behaviors. Inductive parenting, which is parenting where decision-making processes are an interaction between the parent and the child, rather than the parent being the ultimate authority. The final decision still rests with the parent, but the child has a role in that process. So inductive parenting tells and demonstrates to children acceptable and adaptive ways to behave and teaches positive effects of prosocial actions. So some examples of prosocial behavior: waving someone in front of you in traffic, being an organ donor. Okay. There's a lot more prosocial behavior, and we do a lot of this every day. That's just part of being a member in society. But think of how irritating it is when you come across someone who doesn't engage in those tiny prosocial behaviors, who cuts people off in traffic, who doesn't hold the door open for you. Think of how irritating those are, and that will show you how important prosocial behavior is. So, sharing. Even a 1-year-old will spontaneously offer food and objects to others. They may immediately take it back, but the thought is there. In the 2nd year, children will comfort distressed companions and help with tasks and chores. By preschool years, children engage in prosocial behavior. Helping occurs more often than sharing, affection, and reassuring. Development of prosocial behavior is linked to empathy and perspective taking, which is part of theory of mind. So preschoolers are, remember, just now getting it. That's the perspective taking. This improves with age. Children with better perspective taking show greater prosocial behavior and less aggression because they're more able to put themselves in the other person's shoes. Empathy. Infants will cry when they hear another infant crying. Empathy promotes prosocial behavior and decreases aggression. During the 2nd year, a child may try to comfort another person in distress in that egocentric way, but the thought is there, and girls tend to show more empathy than boys do. So how do we teach this? How do we teach empathy and prosocial behavior? Well, positive verbal reinforcement. When they do something altruistic, praise them for it. I really like how you helped that other boy find his ball. Or I really like how you hugged that girl when she was crying. Praise them when they do something that's nice and prosocial. Don't give them rewards. Bribing children to be nice doesn't work. It ties altruistic behavior to rewards, therefore it becomes self-serving and counterproductive. So then if you ask them to do something nice, like help you empty the dishwasher, their thought is, well, what am I going to get out of it? And they need attachment figures who model prosocial behavior. The foundation for altruism is warm and caring relationships with adults who model caring and helpful behaviors. Bandura did studies on this. Children will internalize, which means they'll adopt the attributes or standards of another person as their own. They will internalize the behavior of their attachment figures. Children won't internalize actions of adults they mistrust or have a cold relationship with. So it doesn't work to just point to a stranger and show children that that's how prosocial behavior should look like. They need to see their attachment figures engaging in that behavior. So again, positive verbal reinforcement, don't give rewards, and model that behavior for them. So here's a discussion I'm going to put on Blackboard, and I'm eager to hear your thoughts. What are some reasons girls may show more empathy than boys? Why are girls generally more empathetic than boys? Is it something that's in their brains? Or is it something about the way we raise them? Refer back to what we've talked about of gender differences, especially in infancy and toddlers. So, what can we do to promote empathy in all children? Children who show prosocial behavior are rewarded by people responding more positively to them. Children who are given tasks to do at home, such as chores and caring for younger siblings, are more likely to show prosocial behavior. And observation. They model the prosocial behavior of their parents and peers. They do what they see. Attachment matters too. Children who are securely attached to their parents have greater empathy and prosocial behavior. Children with greater prosocial behavior have parents who are less likely to use the power assertive techniques, such as spanking and yelling, and instead use techniques such as, you made your brother cry, it's not nice to hit. Look at how sad your brother is. So by discussing the feelings of others, we help encourage empathy. In the next video, we're going to talk about aggression.